Hey, all right. So I have a question. I don't want to rehash a lot of the Nibin stuff that we just talked about, but I had a scenario where some guys kind of fled from a traffic stop. We weren't allowed to pursue, but luckily they just turned a left and pretty much pulled in the parking lot at work. So we got out with them in the parking lot. We ended up having pretty complicated. The suspect vehicle parked beside a buddy's car. The passenger in the suspect vehicle gets out in the parking lot, lingers around the bystander's buddy's car, and said, "Hey, man, if they ask, tell them that I was in your car. I wasn't involved in the whole chase thing." So when we get out with them, the driver of the bystander vehicle um, pretty much has nothing to do with it, except when we asked for a DL, he goes into his car, grabs his wallet, and at that point, I was standing right beside the door, so I smell marijuana. We do a PC search of both vehicles. The suspect vehicle and everything is dealt with, handled with. They had some drugs, whatever. This bystander guy was kind of my project, though. I get some paraphernalia, some stuff out of the car. He did have a 9mm firearm that we ran, cleared it. Everything was good there. It wasn't stolen. And then while we were just hanging around at the hood of the vehicle, kind of down at the very bottom of the windshield, where the windshield meets the hood and that little crevice that holds all the pine straw and leaves and all that, there was a shell casing that had like some obvious wear to it, like patina and that kind of stuff. And I saw it. It reminded me that my evidence techs need to go travel about an hour to log into the Nibin system every couple of months anyway. So if they don't have anything to test, they have to go up there and log in anyway. And I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to be pretty proactive here. Why don't I just go ahead and grab the shell casing, give them a reason to go up there, log something. These guys were not like your average soccer mom. So I was thinking maybe that shell casing might actually come back to a shooting where a casing was collected somewhere else or something like that. Got to thinking about it though, and so I mean, essentially, I asked the guy, "Hey, did you know that this was here?" And he said no. I asked him if he knew where it came from. He said the only time I could think is that when we were shooting guns out over by an abandoned bridge one time, but it was no crimes or anything. We weren't shooting at people, and I didn't exactly ask consent. It was more of a, all right, well, look, I'm gonna take it. If it comes back to anything, you better tell me now. Blah blah blah. And he stuck with the whole bridge story. So took it, submitted it. Haven't got any results yet or anything like that yet. But now that I'm thinking about it, I guess if it actually came back that it was related to a shooting or something like that, a murder somewhere else, if it was called into question, I think I would have to try to articulate abandoned property, maybe, because it wasn't really consent. And I started thinking about it afterwards, and it's a little sketchy. What do y'all think about
it? I like it. Mike, what do you think?
I'm trying to keep up here where we ended up with this thing. So let's boil it down to the casing, right? I think that's kind of where it all comes down to. It sounds like came into contact with there. So the casing that's on the, I don't know, whatever we call it, the windshield wiper area, what'd you say, the pine straw there? So again, kind of what you're talking about earlier, this, it's a plain view, we're lawfully positioned, we have lawful access to it. Do we believe though that it's related to a crime again, kind of what we were talking about earlier, right?
Well, look, yeah. I think Jonathan's onto something with this abandonment issue.
Yeah, because the placement, and he didn't express a interest in it,
the patina, the fact that it's like
aged.
It's also where it is,
and you said there's pine straw in there too, right? Like, so
that's where pine straw goes.
Yeah, but it's all like kind of intermingled, so it's been there for a while.
Is it intermingled, Jonathan?
I mean, not really. I mean, there wasn't like it was just loose pieces of pine straw. So it wasn't like it was caked in there with anything, right. But
just kind of stuff in there, huh?
It's there for a few weeks, but no longer than several months or anything like that, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, I don't think we can go with Plainview seizure, right? The topic that we just did today, because lawfully present and immediately apparent as
but not immediately apparent. No.
But I really think it's a good argument for just good old-fashioned abandon. Like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I know it's on his car. That's the hang up there, right? It's on his car. but it seems like a piece of garbage. It's in a place that's exposed to the vehicle. It's I mean, like, it's like a piece of straw. Like, you know, it is like like a pine needle. Like it's like garbage on your car. And I know you had to seize it from there, but I don't think a court is going to really believe that this shell casing, and especially with the conversation that the guy had, he didn't maybe give consent, but he also didn't like establish a dominion over it. He's not like, oh yeah,
like,
that's my shell casing. I collect those things and I reload.
I love pine straw in that. Yeah,
that's right. So I really think that under this facts, and it's a fascinating case, Jonathan, but I really feel very confident that you're good here under abandonment under the totality of the circumstances.
Yeah, because you look at, like, you know, expectation of privacy, where it's at, no. And then if you even start looking at Jones analysis, it's like, well, not so much either.
No,
really. So, it might not even be a search. Well,
maybe. I mean, there could be a push comes to shove. I mean, it is touching a vehicle. Maybe with intent to get information. Maybe,
but,
right?
But do they have it? There's no expectation. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think they made abandoned.
No, look. So I see I just see abandoned. I see abandoned in the sense that he's not being like, oh, I have nothing to do with it, but it's also abandoned. It's abandoned in those cases that talk about stuff that's like accessible to the public, and you know. It's just to tell you circumstances. Does he really? Because that's what abandonment is. Abandonment is privacy, right? Does he really expect privacy in a shell casing that fell on his car weeks or months ago? The answer is no.
And society wouldn't either.
No, I think we're good to go, Jonathan. I don't. No, it's a good analytical discussion, but I think at the end of the day, the judge gets it right by saying we're good to go. So hopefully, you find your murderer, Jonathan.
I was about to say, if it comes back to a shooting, maybe I'll teach on it one day.
Or maybe you're going to the Supreme Court. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Don't forget the little people. Call us.
Hey, another short joke? Seriously?
I didn't think about that, but I guess it's like a Freudian slip when it comes to you. You know what I mean? All right.